A monstrous black tiger was devouring people. The king sent his army to stop the beast. He also sent the most skilled warrior and the kingdom's most powerful shaman, but they all fell before the beast. The four-winged black tiger was unstoppable. The creature's rampage reached the throne room. It then devoured the king himself. The queen begged for her life from the monster. She groveled at the beast's feet. Only the young prince managed to survive. He hid, terrified, inside a storage chest. The remaining survivors had only one option left. They gathered together and prayed to the heavens. But what appeared before them was not a savior. Another creature emerged from the darkness. However, this was just a performance. A storyteller wearing a fearsome tiger mask. He was retelling the horrifying legend. His act was so good it terrified the children. He acted out the tiger approaching the village. The people were frozen in place with fear. Then he switched masks to become the hero. The mountain spirit had finally arrived. An old woman's voice cut through the show. She angrily called out for a Miss Yu Hua. The nanny glared at the masked boy. She blamed him for luring her lady out. The boy cheekily lifted his mask. He denied doing anything wrong at all. "This is Bongsan, a 15-year-old performer. He said the lady wanted to see the show." The crowd recognized the Yu family's nanny. They immediately began to run for their lives. Bongsan watched his audience disappear. The nanny vowed to finally catch this rascal. She lunged forward with surprising agility, but Bongsan dodged her with a nimble flip. He laughed as he quickly fled the scene. He wasn't going to be caught so easily. As he fled, he promised to finish the show. The rest of the mass dance would be tomorrow. He then shot a final taunting look back. The young lady, Yu Hua, couldn't help but giggle. Watching from afar, another man recognized the performer. He approached the nanny to calm her down. He told her not to be so hard on the boy. The man explained Bongsan's tragic backstory. The boy was an orphan just trying to survive. But the nanny refused to soften her stance. Her only concern was Miss Yu Hua. She mentioned an incident concerning the madam. The family's elder had been worried ever since. Later that day, the sky turned a brilliant blue. Bongsan was back at his secluded home. He practiced carving under his master's watch, but his frustration got the better of him. He snapped the delicate wooden carving in two. His master was unimpressed by the outburst. He simply held up the pieces and told him, "Again." Bongsan complained, tired of carving all day. He begged to learn the mask dance instead. The master asked a simple question. How could one dance without a proper mask? A sly look came over Bongsan's face. He revealed that he already had a mask. He proudly spoke of the ultimate beast, a true legend among all monsters. He presented his masterpiece to his master, the powerful four-winged black tiger mask. The master silently took the mask from him. His expression was impossible to read. He finally spoke, scolding the boy's ambition. Making grand masks would not help him dance. He explained the path to a good dance. It begins with a modest, familiar subject. Bongsan whined that modest things weren't cool, but his master cryptically replied about their power. The boy was tired of these complex sayings. His master always dodged the real question. He then accused his master of making excuses. He pointed out the old man's declining health. He claimed the master was just tired of teaching. The old man's legs trembled slightly. The master's anger finally boiled over. His hand tightened around his wooden staff. Bongsan knew instantly he had crossed the line. A cold sweat ran down his face. With a roar, his master told him to get lost. Bongsan barely dodged a flying object. He sprinted deep into the misty woods. He had really messed up this time. The master was left panting in the doorway. He cursed the boy under his breath. As evening fell, the mountains were cast in shadow. Bongsan walked alone, filled with deep regret. He feared his master would abandon him. He resolved to learn the dance by himself. But a sudden noise stopped him in his tracks. He crept towards the bushes to investigate. What could be making that sound? The sight that greeted him was horrifying. A deer lay motionless on the ground. The shock sent him tumbling backward in fear. He couldn't believe his eyes. He noticed deep claw marks on the animal. What large predator roamed these woods? As he processed the scene, he saw movement. Something was hiding behind the deer. A tiny, whimpering fawn slowly emerged. It was nudging its deceased mother. Bongsan stared at the newly orphaned animal. He saw a painful reflection of himself. The memory hit him like a lightning bolt. A vision of his own tragic past flashed before him. He remembered his mother dying in his arms. She called out his name one last time. With her final breath, she told him not to be sad. The young boy could only cry for his mother. The memory was a deep, open wound. He watched the fawn try to wake its own mother. Their pain was one and the same. His heart ached with a profound empathy. He slowly reached out his hand. He gently comforted the frightened animal. He understood what it was feeling. A single tear fell from his eye. He had found a kindred spirit. The fawn's large, dark eyes stared back. It was lost and completely alone. In that moment, Bongsan's gaze filled with purpose. He finally understood his master's lesson. A vision of a celestial deer spirit appeared. It was the inspiration he had been missing. He returned to his work with renewed focus. His carving knife moved with intent. His master's words echoed in his mind. A good subject is found in one's surroundings. He now understood what it meant. Even a modest subject could hold great power. This was the beginning of a true mask dance. He carved under the moonlight with the fawn nearby. After hours of work, he held up his creation. He had finally finished it. Bongsan looked down at the deer mask. He now possessed a proper mask. The fawn whimpered under the starry night sky. Bongsan picked up the small creature. He promised to protect it from now on. The fawn, Danby, struggled nervously in his arms. Bongsan felt something was terribly wrong. He then looked down and saw fresh blood on the ground. Suddenly, a massive jaw appeared right beside him. A monstrous voice identified him as a human child. Blood dripped from its terrifying razor-sharp teeth. Bongsan froze on the spot, completely paralyzed by fear. The memory of the deer's deep wounds flashed in his mind. The large predator he had feared was finally here. It was a monster with jet-black fur and glowing red eyes. The legendary black tiger from the stories stood before him. The beast opened its mouth and demanded to know about the Bainacha. Bongsan was terrified and confused by its strange question. His mind reeled at the impossible sight of a talking tiger. Seizing the moment, Danby panicked and leaped from his arms. The tiger raised its massive paw to strike the fleeing fawn. Bongsan instinctively reached for his newly carved mask. He put on the deer mask, trying to embody its spirit. He suddenly understood his master's words about the mask's true power. The tiger instantly recognized the mask's unique energy. It lunged forward, furiously demanding the Bainacha's location again. Bongsan dodged the attack, still baffled by the tiger's question. The mask made his body lighter, but he was slowing down. He knew he couldn't just keep dodging. He needed to find an opening to strike. One good shot was all he needed to escape. But facing the legendary black tiger filled him with doubt. Could he truly pull it off? He was just a boy against a mythical beast. His master's words came back to him again. Sometimes, small things possess great power. He steadied himself and put his faith in the mask. He would become a deer and perform his first real dance. Bongsan Mask Dance, Act 1, The Deer Dance. He leaped with newfound power, striking the tiger. A powerful kick landed on its head. The attack worked. For a moment, his body had moved on its own. The tiger was momentarily stunned by the attack. But Bongsan's surprise quickly turned to shock. The black tiger was utterly unfazed by the blow. It sneered at the audacity of a mere deer mask. A menacing glint appeared in its crimson eye. The beast found his attempt amusing. With blinding speed, the tiger struck back. Bongsan was sent flying backward through the air. The force of the blow was overwhelming. He crashed hard against a tree, his mask cracking. A familiar-looking dart flew past his face. His master had finally arrived to save him. The tiger's attention shifted to the old man. It knew he was hiding nearby all along. The master asked why the tiger had come. The beast replied, "To retrieve what is mine." The master revealed his true identity. He was the mountain spirit, Bainacha. The tiger furiously demanded to know one thing. He wanted the location of the human mask. But Bainacha simply repeated his own question. Why had the fearsome beast returned? The black tiger came to retrieve what was stolen from him long ago. The master grabbed Bongsan and leapt away from the enraged creature. Bongsan was completely lost, asking what the human mask was. Bainacha ignored him and asked the tiger how it broke the seal. The creature claimed its freedom was the will of the heavens. It then declared its dark ambition to rule the entire nation. Bainacha calmly denied having the artifact the tiger sought. The beast sneered, knowing the master didn't have the mask itself, but it accused him of possessing the map that leads to it. After a tense pause, Bainacha admitted that it was true. He then fearlessly challenged the tiger to come and take it. Bongsan could only watch in awe as the two titans clashed. The master unleashed a devastatingly powerful technique upon the beast. The attack created a massive explosion of spiritual energy. Bongsan stared in disbelief at the incredible display of power. Was this glowing, powerful figure truly his master? A thick cloud of dust and debris filled the forest clearing. When the dust settled, the tiger emerged. It was wounded but still standing strong. It questioned why the old man would fight so hard. Why stop him at any cost? Bane Acha was kneeling on the ground, gravely injured. He was clearly on his last legs. He realized he had become too slow. He couldn't dodge the final attack. Bongsan cried out in terror for his master. The tiger mocked the master's futile struggle. He should have chosen his opponents more wisely. It told the old man to give up. Was he truly so afraid of it becoming king? Bane Acha slowly rose to his feet. He said it was time. He had to correct a grave mistake from his past. The tiger sneered at the old man's words. The beast finally understood. This was why he had been hiding here all along. Bongsan watched the two opponents face off once more. He knew the situation was dire. His master couldn't continue fighting. He resolved himself to do what was necessary. He had to find a way to save his master. But he noticed the black tiger seemed exhausted too. The pain from his own injuries had subsided. He decided to take his chance. He put on his cracked deer mask once more. Now was the time to act. The tiger wondered if the master's resolve was due to the boy. Bongsan charged forward, letting out a nervous cry. The master, without his mask, warned the beast. He would not let it harm the boy. The tiger saw the old man's protectiveness. It had found a powerful bargaining chip. It offered a deal, the map for the child's life. But there was a deadly alternative. If Bane Acha refused, it would kill the boy without hesitation. The beast lunged forward, a blur of motion. But it wasn't aiming for Bongsan. It targeted his master instead. With a sickening sound, the tiger's claw found its mark. The impact sent a shockwave through the clearing. The tiger watched its attack land perfectly. Bongsan shielded his face from the blast. Blood splattered across the forest floor. Bongsan screamed as he saw his master impaled. The tiger held the old man up by his chest. It sneered in his dying face. It couldn't understand his sacrifice. Was this child really that precious to him? The master looked at the tiger with sorrow. He could only utter, "I'm sorry." The tiger roared in frustration, demanding an answer. Where was the human mask hidden? With his last breath, the master's eyes glowed. He declared the beast unworthy of wearing the legendary mask. He unleashed one final, desperate technique, Heaven and Earth Mask Dance, second act. A brilliant beam of light shot into the night sky. A powerful energy rippled through the forest. Leaves swirled around under a starry night sky. The blast of light destroyed everything in its path. Bane Acha's body began to glow with an intense aura. He had used his remaining life force. This would buy them some precious time. His body collapsed to the ground, finally succumbing to his wounds. He landed hard, his life quickly fading. Bongsan could only watch, frozen in shock. The master's body began to disintegrate. He was turning into particles of light. Bongsan ripped off his mask in desperation. He ran towards his master, screaming his name. As a single teardrop fell, memories flooded his mind. He remembered the day his mother was taken from him. His village had been ravaged by a band of thieves. It was then that a mysterious masked figure appeared. The surviving villagers were confused by the strange sight. The figure stood atop a hill, looking down upon them. He began to dance without a single word. The exhausted people could only watch in a daze. A dying woman watched him perform. Her life was slowly slipping away. The mysterious dancer moved with grace. He danced without words, without rest. Young Bongsan could only watch, heartbroken. The performance continued on. He danced for the souls of the departed, a ritual to guide them to the afterlife. The sun finally set on the tragic day. He remembered reaching for his mother's hand, but her hand fell limp beside her. He cried out her name, but she was gone. The masked dancer gave him new advice. He told him to truly enjoy life. He wanted Bongsan to live freely and happily. He taught him to make people laugh, even on the day of his own death. He wanted the boy to live that kind of life. Bongsan held his master's last words close. The image of his master's dance was burned into his memory. The sun rose over the mountains. A new day had finally dawned. The master was about to leave the village for good, but a desperate voice called out to him. He turned back, surprised by the sudden plea. It was Bongsan, begging to be taught the mask dance. Back in the present, Bongsan knelt before his dying master. He cried, begging his master not to leave him. He couldn't go on alone. The old man noticed his new creation. He asked if it was a deer mask. Bongsan was filled with overwhelming regret. He felt he should have learned faster. He wished he'd made a proper mask to protect him. All he could make was a simple deer mask. The master reached out a comforting hand. He gently placed it on the boy's head. He was proud of his student's progress. He said he would hear the story of the mask next time. His body began to fade away completely. Bongsun could only scream as his master vanished. The master's final gaze was filled with warmth. The memory of their first meeting resurfaced. The man seemed intrigued by the boy's request. Bongsun declared his desire to become a clown. He wanted to learn the mask dance. The master explained his art was different. It was more than just mere clowning. He advised the boy to join a troupe instead, but Bongsun grabbed his robe, refusing to let go. The old man was surprised by the brat's tenacity. The boy knelt, pleading with all his heart. He wanted to perform the mask dance. The man called him strange for wanting such a life of begging on the streets. But Bongsun was prepared for that. He had nothing and no one left in the world. The master couldn't understand his desperation. He asked why he wanted to learn so badly. Bongsun clutched the man's robe tightly. He tearfully admitted that he also wanted to shine as brightly as the master did. He remembered that powerful dance. He wanted that light, even just for a moment. He wanted to be someone who could help people forget their pain and sorrow. He wanted to dance with a mask and make people laugh. A silent understanding passed between them. The master saw the fire in the boy's eyes. His gaze softened at the boy's pure heart. He saw a reflection of the sun in the boy's teary eyes. He sighed, calling him a stubborn brat. He had made his decision. The memory faded, returning Bongsun to the present. He stared at his master's still form. He cried out his name again and again, but there was no response. In that moment, he finally understood himself. He had only been running away. He was trying to forget the unbearable pain. He was running from the crushing sadness. He was escaping his overwhelming regret. He was fleeing the dark night of despair. He just kept running without looking back. He ran towards the only light he had ever known. The scene shifted to a peaceful night. Bongsun was now retelling his story to someone. His companion listened in silence. Bongsun explained he had wandered for a while after that day. When he finally returned to the village, 5 years had passed. The rest of the story was already known. Now an adult, he stood on a cliff's edge. He took a deep breath of the familiar air. It had been far too long. He looked down at his collection of masks. The village below hadn't changed at all. He gazed upon his old home with a nostalgic smile. This is Bongsun, now 20 years old. He was ready to find the human mask. Meanwhile, a rumor was spreading through the village. A fearsome beast had appeared in the mountains. It had torn ears and sharp, deadly claws. Its fur was patterned like plum blossoms. It was a ferocious, man-eating tiger. Some villagers laughed off the story as nonsense, but others insisted it was true. They even claimed to have witnesses. They urged everyone to evacuate immediately. The whole village was on edge. Bongsun sat nearby, enjoying a hearty meal. He finished his bowl with a satisfied sigh. It had been a while since he'd felt so full. He wondered where to go next. The warrior smirks, suggesting it's time for some real action. He dons a mysterious antlered mask, readying himself for a mission. He soon arrives at what should be a busy marketplace, but the entire town square is completely abandoned and silent. A timid voice explains that everyone ran away in fear. He turns to find a young boy with a grave expression. The masked man is clearly confused by this strange situation. Elsewhere, terrified villagers beg for their lives at the governor's office. They plead for sanctuary from a terrifying threat outside the walls. A guard simply looks on, annoyed by the desperate crowd. Inside, the governor learns a tiger rumor has caused the panic. He scoffs, refusing to shelter the people from the beast. Instead, he orders his men to punish everyone who gathered there. The empty, sun-drenched village remains quiet and still. The masked man realizes a tiger has ruined all of his plans. He crouches down, asking the boy why he hasn't fled. The boy fiercely declares he is going to catch the tiger. The man is completely unimpressed by the child's bold claim. Offended, the boy shouts at him not to underestimate his will. He proclaims his dream is to become a tiger hunter warrior. The boy dreams of a great hero protecting people from a tiger. He explains that a single tiger pelt would earn him a fortune. The masked man questions his motives, but the boy has a reason. He sadly reveals the money is for medicine for his sick mother. The man's gaze softens as he asks a serious question. The boy admits he has never actually seen a tiger before. The warrior scoffs, knowing the boy underestimates the beast's power. Back at the government office, an official struggles with the crowd. A lone guard feels trapped, watching the commotion from the wall. Suddenly, a blood-curdling roar shatters the relative peace of the town. The boy and the masked man are caught off guard by the sound. The villagers outside the office freeze in utter shock and horror. A ferocious tiger leaps right into the middle of the terrified crowd. An official screams in terror from his hiding spot atop the wall. He furiously demands that the fleeing villagers fight back. He orders them to kill the tiger and present its skin to the governor. But his reward of 5 nyung is laughably small for such a task. The villagers know that paltry sum is not worth risking their lives. However, one brave man sees it as 10 days of wages. He claims he can handle it, having worked for a hunter before. He notices the creature is a small, injured leopard, not a tiger. He rallies a few men, confident they can overwhelm the beast. He plans a coordinated attack, ordering them all to charge at once. The man begins his countdown, staring down the snarling creature. As he counts, the leopard bares its sharp and hungry fangs. But before he can finish, a blur of motion tears through them. The leopard's attack is too swift, catching the men by surprise. The beast moves with blinding speed across the dusty ground. It leaps over the fallen men in a brutal display of agility. The leopard lands gracefully, completely unharmed from the exchange. The remaining villagers watch the aftermath, frozen in sheer terror. Its glowing eyes fixate on the crowd, searching for its next meal. Panic erupts as the crowd breaks into a desperate stampede. The cowardly official screams at them to return and fight. The villagers scramble away. Their only thought now is survival. No one dares to look back at the vicious predator. Yet amidst the chaos, the small boy firmly stands his ground. Seeing the carnage, he reinforces his vow to catch the beast. He nervously tightens his grip on his simple bamboo spear. The blood-soaked leopard now turns its cold eyes upon the boy. The boy's face pales, the harsh reality of his situation sinking in. He trembles uncontrollably, sweat beading on his terrified face. The leopard licks its lips, its hunger clearly visible. In a flash, the beast lunges forward, aiming for the small child. The boy flinches, his body completely frozen with raw fear. He stumbles backward, bracing himself for the inevitable impact. The leopard's sharp claws are just moments away from their target. He shuts his eyes, tears streaming down his face, awaiting his fate. But the fatal blow never lands, leaving him utterly confused. The masked man suddenly appears, shielding the boy from harm. He gently places a hand on the boy's head, telling him to watch. This will be a demonstration of a true and deadly mask dance. The returning villagers watch in awe at the strange scene unfolding. The cowardly official peeks over the wall, dismissing him as a clown. Even the leopard seems confused by this sudden, strange interruption. The masked man calmly pushes the boy to safety behind him. The beast lets out an angry snarl, annoyed by the interference. He notices the entire village has now gathered to watch them. The leopard growls, sizing up this new and mysterious challenger. With a captive audience, the man cracks his knuckles, ready to begin. The leopard opens its jaws, ready to deliver a final fatal bite. It lunges forward with incredible speed, its glowing eyes full of rage. The man declares the start of his dance, the first act beginning. He moves with fluid grace, his sleeves trailing like whips. His body weaves through the air, effortlessly dodging the beast's attack. The villagers can only stare, their mouths wide open in disbelief. Even the official is completely stunned by the impossible sight. The young boy watches on, his terror now replaced with awe. The man continues his elegant dance, staying just out of reach. He leaps high into the air as the leopard passes beneath him. His movements are a blur of white cloth and focused energy. In a swift motion, he lands perfectly on the creature's back. He unleashes a powerful flying stomp with devastating force. The impact sends a massive shockwave rippling across the ground. The earth itself seems to crack under the immense pressure. He lands in a heroic pose, his eyes glowing with golden light. The crowd is left speechless by this ridiculous display of power. The leopard's head bears the mark of the devastating final blow. With a final gasp, the beast lies motionless, its fight now over. One man breaks the silence, laughing in sheer disbelief and relief. The villagers finally realize that the terrifying beast is dead. Overwhelmed with relief, they begin to cry tears of joy. A massive cheer erupts from the crowd. They have been saved. The young boy stares in disbelief, his mind still reeling. The masked man turns to the child, who is now his biggest fan. He pulls up his mask, revealing a confident, satisfied smile. He asks the boy what he thought of his amazing performance. The boy stammers, asking if that was really a mask dance. The man confirms it was, acting as if it was no big deal. He explains that a mask dance is meant to make people happy. He points to the joyous crowd as proof of his success. A tearful smile finally breaks across the young boy's face. The villagers celebrate their hero under a clear and peaceful sky. But a lone black crow watches the scene from high above. It flies away from the village, heading deep into the forest. The bird glides silently over the vast and treacherous mountains. It descends from the sky, having reached its final destination. The crow lands perfectly on the finger of a mysterious figure. The figure is hidden inside a dark palanquin carried by guards. Inside, a shadowy master receives the bird's important message. Inside the palanquin, a foot steps down onto the forest floor. A messenger arrives calling out for the legendary tiger hunter. The hunter turns, his long hair flowing gracefully in the wind. The messenger reports the escaped leopard has finally been caught. But the hunter is confused, as the warrior pursuing it had perished. The messenger hesitates, struggling to explain the strange events. He reveals that it was a simple clown who defeated the beast. The hunter's scarred eye twitches, his expression unreadable. He remains silent, shrouded in the darkness of the forest. The tiger hunter contemplates this unexpected, bizarre turn of events. In a flashback, a young boy kneels beside his dying master. His master lies defeated after a fierce battle with a giant tiger. The man utters the boy's name with his final, ragged breath. He gives the boy his final instructions, entrusting him with a task. The boy weeps, knowing the heavy burden now rests on his shoulders. He remembers the master's words as he flees into the sunset. He was told to run from the black tiger and find the human mask. The memory of the master's final mission flashes in his mind. Back in the village, the governor admires his brand new leopard rug. He congratulates his subordinate for contacting the high officials. A guard dares to interrupt the governor's important meeting. He looks nervous, unsure how his news will be received. The clown who caught the tiger has come for his reward. The man offers a charming greeting, but the governor is wary. He finds the hero suspicious and demands to know how he did it. Meanwhile, the villagers are buzzing with excitement over the event. The young boy enthusiastically reenacts the spectacular final blow. A skeptical elder questions if the boy's tale is even true, but other villagers quickly jump in, confirming every single word. One man stays quiet, a look of recognition on his face. He asks an old woman if the mysterious clown looks familiar. The woman scoffs, certain she's never seen him in her life. He reminds her of a young, masked orphan they used to know. She remembers Bongsan, but says the boy died 5 years ago. The man points out that the boy's body was never actually found. She dismisses the idea, asking why he would return now. The governor carelessly tosses the promised 5 nyung on the floor. The hero's eyes sparkle as he gratefully kneels for the money. But his expression shifts, a calculated look in his eyes. He asks if he might receive a reward other than money. The governor is shocked that a common clown would refuse money. The hero calmly states that his request is a simple one. He boldly asks for the governor's very own personal necklace. The official is outraged by the man's unbelievable audacity. He immediately has the clown thrown out of the government office. The subordinate then asks the governor about the necklace. He wonders why anyone would value it over a hefty sum of money. The governor dismisses it as nothing more than a piece of wood. He explains it was a gift meant to ward off bad luck. The subordinate recalls a story of a mysterious old man. A monk had sold pieces of a mountain spirit to a fool. They both laugh, believing the clown fell for the old rumor. Outside, the hero thoughtfully considers his next move. He lays out several broken pieces of a strange carved stone. This is the very object he had hoped to find in the village. Suddenly, the young boy appears, hanging upside down above him. The hero, startled, asks the curious boy what he's doing here. The boy asks about the pieces, which were a gift from his master. The hero asks if the boy can read the characters on them. The boy can't read, but he does recognize a familiar pattern. He explains that the character on the stone piece means human. This is a riddle his master left for him before he passed away. The boy realizes the hero is also searching for the human mask. But before he can ask, the boy excitedly points to the street. The hero turns, annoyed at the sudden and loud interruption. The legendary tiger hunter warrior has arrived with his entire troop. The hunter rides through the town, his presence commanding respect. He glances around, his sharp eyes scanning the small village. The young boy is completely starstruck by the impressive warriors. The hunter briefly makes eye contact with the man in the crowd. The hero is confused, sensing a strange feeling from the hunter. He wonders what that fleeting yet intense stare could have meant. The hunter and his soldiers march straight to the government office. Their grand arrival is a truly imposing and impressive sight. The governor wonders why such an important figure is here. The hunter explains he heard a rare tiger appeared in the area. The governor mockingly asks if he came to hunt a ghost. The hunter is not amused by the governor's poor attempt at humor. He declares they are here to retrieve the valuable leopard fur. The governor is furious, refusing to give up his new prize. His aide reminds him the hunter has a legal right to the fur. The governor panics, realizing his gift for the official is gone. He sweats nervously, his mind racing to find a way out of this. He steels himself, preparing to face the imposing warrior. He tries to stall, claiming the fur is still being processed. He offers the hunter a drink, hoping to distract him for a while. The hunter considers the offer, his eyes narrowing suspiciously. His gaze is sharp and calculating, seeing through the deception. The hunter's crow lands nearby, a silent message passing between them. He agrees to stay, allowing his exhausted soldiers to rest. Night falls over the government office, the moon hanging high. The governor has drunk himself into a deep and heavy slumber. He snores loudly, completely unaware of the approaching danger. A shadowy figure silently slips into his room through the window. The intruder lands with the grace and silence of a cat. It's the hero, now wearing a mischievous purple monkey mask. He recalls how the governor had him thrown out earlier that day. He straddles the sleeping man, ready to exact his clever revenge. He holds a sharp tool, prepared to take what he came for. But as he reaches for the necklace, another figure appears behind him. The masked intruder looked back in utter shock. A figure was suddenly thrown through the paper screen doors. He crashed into the courtyard with incredible force. The warrior had caught him, calling the intruder a clown. Later that night, the warrior was calmly served a drink. He was invited for a private meeting with a government official. The official offered the cup with a very serious gaze. Without a word, the warrior accepted and drank it all. The older man watched him closely before taking a sip himself. He then brought up the real reason for this meeting. The warrior listened intently, his expression unreadable. The official spoke of a powerful counselor who desired leopard fur. He offered to connect them if the warrior gave him the fur. The official waited nervously for an answer, sweating slightly. The warrior's hand remained still, resting beside his cup. Seeing no reaction, the official quickly backtracked, flustered. He awkwardly offered another drink to break the tense silence. The moonlit sky hung over the silent palace rooftops. Suddenly, the official collapsed onto the table unconscious. The warrior calmly took another drink, completely unfazed. The official mumbled in his sleep about the state counselor. The warrior wondered about the clown who caught the leopard. After a moment, the passed-out official began to stir. He awoke laughing, calling the clown completely crazy. The warrior sat in silence, observing the drunken man. He subtly prepared a small stone tied to a thin string. His eyes narrowed with intense, unwavering focus. A small steaming cup was placed on a wooden stand. The warrior concentrated, his gaze fixed on his target. A strange blue energy began to swirl around him. It formed a spectral image of the masked man. He was using a technique to extract the man's memories. He realized the rumors he had heard were wrong. In the memory, he confronted the so-called clown. The masked man was completely caught off guard. He scratched his head, finally understanding the situation. He knelt down, begging for his reward from the governor. The warrior then presented a familiar-looking stone necklace. Stunned, the man tried to leave with his reward, but a cold blade suddenly pressed against his throat. He demanded the masked man answer his previous question first. The warrior questioned the mask, noting it was not a deer. The man nervously pushed the sharp blade away from his neck. He claimed that true clowns change their masks for any situation. Unimpressed, the warrior unleashed a sudden, vicious sword strike. His face was a mask of cold concentration during the attack. The clown acrobatically flipped backward, narrowly dodging the blow. The warrior pressed his assault with a flurry of swift attacks. The masked man was shocked by the unexpected onslaught. The warrior realized this clown was more skilled than he appeared. He demanded to see the legendary dance that caught a leopard. The clown mockingly announced the start of his monkey dance. He shot forward with surprising speed and agility. They became a whirlwind of motion, dodging and weaving with ease. The clown landed gracefully, showing off his acrobatic skill. He cheekily lifted his mask, refusing to perform for a bad audience. The warrior acknowledged his impressive moves, eyeing the mask. His thoughts then drifted to something else he had heard. He recalled the ominous legend of the one who wears the mask. In the memory, the agile clown reached for a door to leave. As he tried to leave, the warrior's blade was at his neck again. Suddenly, an arrow flew swiftly through the air between them. The masked clown turned in surprise as it hit the door. Even the warrior seemed confused by this unexpected interruption. The governor of the town appeared, armed with a bow. He was enraged that they dared to intrude on his home. The governor screamed, his face contorted with pure fury. His guards immediately rushed to his side with torches lit. He commanded his men to arrest both of the trespassers. He then fired a volley of arrows straight at the clown. The governor swore to kill the clown, then the warrior next. His guards began to surround the silent warrior. The warrior simply stood there, completely unconcerned. The clown managed to dodge yet another incoming arrow. With his eyes glowing, he realized he had to escape. He began to scale the wall with incredible speed. The governor aimed his bow, trying to shoot him down, but the clown easily vaulted over the rooftop edge. He landed safely, laughing at the men below him. His laughter stopped when a blade met his neck once more. The clown looked up, stunned to see another man on the roof. A white-masked man smiled, holding a short, curved blade. Below, the governor fumbled with his bow and arrows. He grumbled in frustration, blaming the alcohol for his bad aim. A blade was suddenly pressed against the governor's throat. He froze in terror. a single bead of sweat rolling down his face. The attacker was one of the warrior's elite tiger hunter soldiers. The governor's guards were already neutralized and kneeling. The governor stared in complete disbelief at the scene. The tiger hunters had appeared from the shadows to subdue his men. The warrior now stood surrounded by his own loyal soldiers. Flustered, the governor couldn't process the sudden turn of events. The warrior calmly told the stunned governor to wait a moment. The governor's aide furiously accused him of threatening his master. The warrior coolly asked the governor if he knew military law. He reminded him of the tiger hunter's special rights. Questioning a tiger catcher was well within his authority. The warrior's quiet authority silenced all opposition. He then looked to the roof, telling the clown to stop running. The entire rooftop was now surrounded by his elite soldiers. The cornered clown sweated, realizing he was completely trapped. The warrior ordered him to come down and finish his dance. He saw no escape as the warrior's men surrounded him below. The leader's command echoed with undeniable authority. Suddenly, the clown dropped a small round object to the ground. He then gracefully leaped from the roof into the courtyard. With a grin, he boldly proposed a dance-off. But he had no intention of simply going along with their demands. He mocked the warrior for asking him to perform while surrounded. Internally, he planned to feign compliance and then escape. The warrior's soldier watched the clown's antics with a smile. The white-masked man who had been on the roof gave a nod. He then extended a sheathed sword towards the clown. The clown looked surprised by the unexpected offer. He refused the blade, saying his dance required no weapons. The white-masked soldier laughed at his bold declaration. He remarked to the governor that the clown was certainly brave. The warrior, however, was not amused by the display. He removed the red sashes from his arms, preparing for battle. With a determined glare, he accepted the clown's challenge. The clown dodged the warrior's sudden lunge with a yell. He was nearly struck by the unexpected sword thrust. The warrior's silent attack had been incredibly close. The clown ducked just in time to avoid a decapitating swing. The governor watched in horror as his building was wrecked. His aide apologized for the damage, asking for more patience. The warrior promised it wouldn't take much longer to finish. He berated the clown for only dodging his attacks. The warrior swung his blade in a powerful, determined arc. The clown suddenly appeared right behind him in a flash. Thinking he landed a hit, the clown prepared to flee. He planted his hand firmly on the ground, ready to bolt. He took off in a full sprint, aiming for an escape. But the warrior saw through his plan to run away. The warrior leaped high into the air, anticipating his move. He landed with a ground-shattering impact, blocking the exit. The clown stared, shocked by this new development. He was sent flying backwards from the force of the impact. The clown couldn't believe the warrior was this relentless. He felt the murderous intent coming from the warrior's blade. A vicious slash finally cut the clown across the chest. The governor laughed maniacally, demanding the clown's head. The warrior raised his sword, preparing another deadly strike. The clown now knew this man was serious about killing him. He resolved to fight back seriously and find a chance to flee. He began to perform his Bongsun mask dance technique. A spectral monkey appeared as he unleashed the monkey dance. He moved with inhuman speed, a blur of motion in the courtyard. The warrior demanded he fight with all his heart. He pushed forward, wanting to see the clown's true power. The clown beckoned him forward with a confident hand gesture. He then lunged in, landing a swift palm strike to the chest. The powerful blow staggered the warrior for a brief moment. The warrior blocked the follow-up, their clash echoing loudly. The impact sent a crack splintering across the clown's mask. He dodged away, creating distance between them once more. The warrior, now bleeding slightly, demanded the fight continue. The clown clutched his cracking mask, muttering an apology. He unleashed a new technique, catching the moon. The warrior was left looking up, caught in the sudden move. The spectators watched in horror as the warrior's neck was cut open. The clown reached out, believing he had landed a fatal blow. The warrior staggered back from the force of the attack. With a sickening crack, his neck snapped back into place. The clown stared in disbelief. His killing move had failed. The warrior's hand shot out, grabbing the clown's arm with immense force. He tilted his head back, a terrifying grin spreading across his face. Surrounded by a blue aura, he declared that the clown had passed. A vision appeared of a scarred man claiming the clown for himself. The clown's mask split, revealing a strange, dual nature within. The night sky swirled as the intense battle reached its climax. The battle was over, leaving a blood-soaked blade behind. The clown's eyes were wide with shock and pain. He was left defeated, battered, and bleeding on the ground. A single tear of despair rolled down his cheek. His signature red mask lay shattered on the cold stone floor. His face was revealed, exhausted and covered in wounds. The warrior slowly and deliberately walked towards him. He stood over the defeated clown, his sword glowing with power. As dawn broke, the long and brutal interrogation was finally over. The soldier finally released the bewildered governor. The governor stared, unable to comprehend what just happened. The soldier simply reminded him of his promise. As he had said, the interrogation did not take long. The defeated clown wearily asked if he would be killed. The warrior stood in silence, his expression unreadable. The governor let out a wicked, triumphant grin. He drew his bow, shouting for an immediate execution. An arrow flew directly towards the clown's head, but the warrior's blade sliced it cleanly in half. He then offered his own sword to the kneeling clown. He coldly warned the furious governor not to interfere. The governor argued he had every right to execute the thief. The warrior calmly stated that the clown has unfinished business. The clown tried to interject, but the warrior continued. The governor was enraged, demanding to know what was left. The warrior's eyes were fixed on the defeated man before him. He explained that the tiger hunters accept help from anyone useful. He acknowledged it was a life-risking task, a dangerous deal. He gave the clown a choice: die a criminal or live as his soldier. The warrior waited patiently for the clown's decision. The clown clenched his fist, contemplating the difficult choice. He hated being forced into a corner like this. The warrior's gaze remained steady, showing no emotion. The clown covered his face, hiding his pained expression. After a long moment, he finally gave his answer. With a strained smile, he begged for his life to be spared. The next day, the tiger hunters' camp was bustling with activity. One of the soldiers ordered everyone to prepare for a long journey. The clown, now a recruit, groaned in discomfort. He complained bitterly about his new, uncomfortable uniform. The other soldiers gossiped about the chaos from the previous night. The clown sighed, deeply regretting ever getting involved. Meanwhile, the governor watched the soldiers from his damaged office. His aide questioned why he was letting them leave so easily. The governor dismissed his concerns with a wave of his hand. He revealed the reason for his good mood. A leopard skin. He cackled, amazed he got it just for giving up the clown. He was still surprised that the warrior made such an offer. The warrior walked away, leaving the town and its problems behind. As the warrior prepared his horse, the clown approached him. He timidly asked if he could stay in the village for one more day. The warrior flatly refused, stating they couldn't afford any delays. He then ordered the new soldier to get back to his post immediately. Dejected, the clown could only mumble in agreement. He kicked the ground in frustration, his request denied. He leaned back, complaining about his strict new leader. He noticed a large crowd had gathered to see the tiger hunters off. The clown scanned the faces, hoping to find a specific person. An old woman in the crowd informed him the young lady wasn't there. He turned in surprise, recognizing the woman's voice. He remembered a past warning from this very same woman. It was the nanny from the Yu family, and she recognized him too. He was overjoyed to see her, as he had been looking for someone. The nanny told him that Miss Yu had left the village long ago. His joyful expression instantly faded at the news. He forced a laugh and asked if she had gotten married. But the old nanny had no idea where the young lady had gone. She only knew she left to find a specific herb 2 years ago. The clown was left confused by the name of this mysterious herb. His mind raced, trying to understand what the herb meant. Suddenly, a young boy from the crowd ran up and screamed at him. The peaceful village was now the site of an odd confrontation. The clown sheepishly tried to explain the situation to the boy, but the boy furiously pointed, calling him a traitor. He accused the clown of stealing his chance to hunt the tiger. The clown burst out laughing, patting the angry boy's head. The boy vowed to join the tiger hunters and surpass his brother. The clown just smiled and said he would be waiting for him. He wished the boy well, promising they would meet again someday. The boy yelled at him for not taking his promise seriously. Even the old nanny couldn't help but smile at the scene. The command was given, and the tiger hunters began their march. Their footsteps were heavy as they left the village behind. The clown walked with them, now a part of their ranks. His thoughts drifted back to a memory from his past. He remembered a time of performance and a mysterious figure. He sighed, realizing he had only just returned from a long journey. The soldiers marched up a hill, leaving the village in the distance. The clown now looked like a seasoned soldier, ready for the hunt. One of the veteran soldiers yelled at him to keep up. The clown cheerfully responded, trying to stay positive. The tiger hunters marched in a long line through the forest. He wondered where he could possibly find the mysterious herbs. Elsewhere, in a dark cave, a man was being interrogated. He nervously confirmed that a masked clown killed the tiger. He recounted how the clown took a wooden piece from the beast. The wounded man swore he saw it happen with his own eyes. After telling everything, he begged for his life to be spared, but his interrogator showed no mercy, ending the man's life. A monstrous wolf-like creature growled, its territory threatened. A horde of beasts with glowing eyes gathered in the darkness. The leader, a massive tiger, declared that the hunt has now begun. Far away, the tiger hunters finally decided to take a break. The soldiers complained about the long and difficult journey. They tried to keep their spirits up with jokes and stories. The clown, however, was already exhausted from the march. He sat down, questioning his decision to volunteer for this. He complained about the heavy armor, which hindered his movements. A fellow soldier suddenly called out to the new rookie. The soldier called him over, looking for a favor. The clown suddenly found himself holding the soldier's heavy pack. He was shocked to realize his load had just doubled in weight. The other soldier explained he had to help carry the palanquin. Without another word, he happily dumped his duties on the rookie. The clown struggled to keep up, now carrying a massive load. He grumbled to himself that this entire escort squad was a mess. He found it unfair that some rode in comfort while others labored. He peeked at the palanquin, wondering who was riding inside. The squad continued their journey through a thick, misty forest. Another soldier asked the clown why he had resorted to stealing. The clown vaguely explained that he needed to find something important. Back in the governor's office, the warrior had a question of his own. He presented the stone necklace, wanting to know its significance. He used the necklace as leverage to get answers from the clown. After a moment of hesitation, the clown revealed its origin. The warrior asked if it was the same master who taught him his dance. He then guessed the stone was actually a piece of a mask. The clown remained silent, his eyes revealing nothing. He finally admitted that the pieces likely formed a map. The clown had a question of his own for the warrior. He wanted to know about the blue flame he saw during their fight. He stared intently, demanding to know what that power was. The warrior simply stared back, giving no answer at all. On the march, a fully armored man rode ahead of the group. The clown asked his new comrade about their leader. The soldier explained that Sir Yongap was on a different level. He reassured the clown that their leader wasn't a bad person. He also explained that riding a horse can make one a target. Unlike them, the tiger hunter warrior sometimes becomes vulnerable. The clown scoffed, finding it hard to believe the warrior had weaknesses. His comrade insisted that the warrior was serious about hunting tigers. He revealed that their leader was after one specific legendary tiger. He was hunting the Four Winds Black Tiger, a legendary monster. The clown was shocked, wondering why he would hunt such a beast. A large black crow suddenly landed on one of the soldiers' hats. The soldiers were startled by the sudden appearance of the bird. The clown looked up, a sense of unease washing over him. The crow stared down with an intelligent, almost human-like gaze. It then left a messy, unpleasant surprise on the soldier's hat. The soldier screamed in disgust and shock at the bird's droppings. He furiously threatened to roast the offending crow over a fire. The crow let out a defiant caw before flying away. His comrade quickly stopped him, warning him not to mess with the crows. The clown was enraged, questioning why their leader would keep such pets. The soldier corrected him, saying Sir Yongap was the deputy leader. Surprised, the clown realized the armored man wasn't in charge. His comrade confirmed that Sir Yongap was only the deputy. This left the clown wondering who the real squad leader was. A soldier suddenly shouted for the entire group to halt. The forest filled with the cawing of hundreds of black crows. The soldiers looked up, confused by the sudden swarm of birds. The crows all descended, landing on top of the palanquin. Sir Yongap watched the strange scene with a stoic expression. He ordered his men to lower the palanquin to the ground. He then dismounted his horse, approaching the palanquin himself. He quietly asked the person inside what the matter was. The curtain of the palanquin slowly began to lift. A mysterious woman in white and red robes was revealed. The deputy confirmed to the stunned clown that she was the squad leader. The clown was still skeptical about their new leader, Zhao. He found it hard to believe someone so small could lead them. Zaya suddenly pointed in a specific direction with conviction. She informed her deputy that a Howan was nearby. She ordered a small armed group to head down the mountain. The squad moved quickly, following their leader's command. They traveled through the dense and unfamiliar forest path. The clown grew nervous, seeing nothing but trees around them. The deputy rode ahead with the leader, reassuring the rookie. He explained that their leader had supernatural abilities. Zhao was a shaman, possessed by the spirit of the crow god. Crows flew ahead, acting as the shaman's eyes and ears. The squad arrived at a clearing, guided by their leader. She and the deputy sat atop their horse, surveying the scene. The soldiers stumbled to a halt, exhausted from the run. Sir Yongap suddenly roared, ordering the squad into formation. They had arrived at a village that had been brutally attacked. He stared intently at the beast responsible for the carnage. A massive tiger with glowing eyes stood over its prey. The deputy once again commanded the crow squad to prepare for battle. A monstrous tiger stands over its victim, eyes glowing with fury. The young leader watches in awe, amazed by the fearsome creature. His companion recoils in horror at the devastating carnage. A warrior in spotted armor quickly dismounts from their steed. The warrior tells her companion to wait there for a moment. The woman in the hood looks on with genuine concern for her safety. Without hesitation, the warrior issues a sharp command to her soldiers. Her troops move as one, their steps perfectly synchronized. The young leader is baffled by their disciplined, unified movement. The tiger sees the soldiers forming a wide, threatening semicircle. He realizes they are using a classic formation to hunt tigers. The soldiers are meant to provide suppressing fire from a distance. Enraged, the beast lets out a terrifying, blood-curdling roar. On command, the archers let their arrows fly in perfect unison. A deadly volley of arrows soars directly toward the tiger, but every single arrow misses, falling harmlessly to the ground. The tiger is stunned, not understanding this strange attack. This was the signal for the tiger hunter to finally make her move. The beast turns its massive head, locking eyes with its new opponent. The warrior meets its gaze, her expression filled with cold resolve. The warrior swings her sword as the beast lunges to attack. The tiger snarls, but its eyes show a flicker of fear. In a shocking twist, the massive creature turns and flees. The warrior glares after it, giving the order to chase. A subordinate relays the command, shouting new orders to the men. The soldiers move instantly, leaving the young leader and the shaman behind. Leader Zhao feels utterly useless. Unsure of what he should do, he and his mysterious companion are left alone in the dust. A thought of escape crosses his mind, but a voice stops him. He turns, stunned that the woman on the horse knew his thoughts. She simply explains that his fear is written all over his face. She then gives him a chilling warning about the cost of fleeing. As he asks what she means, a loud thud interrupts them. Something has fallen from the sky, landing heavily in the sand. He rushes to find a severely injured person lying on the ground. He quickly checks and discovers they are still breathing. He frantically wonders if the Crow Squad has a doctor among them. The wounded person weakly urges him to look somewhere else. Zhao follows their gaze, his own eyes widening in shock. Nearby, a warrior's hand rests on the hilt of their blade. The hunter faces her prey, blade ready for the final strike. Suddenly, an arrow finds its mark, piercing the tiger's thick hide. From a nearby rooftop, an archer celebrates the successful hit. The soldiers begin to tighten their circle, trapping the wounded beast. But one of the men breaks formation, sliding to a stop. He has urgent news for his leader, reporting he found survivors. Other soldiers arrive with a large crossbow, annoyed by the interruption. The scout frantically explains that 30 villagers managed to escape. They followed a wandering doctor deep into the safety of the forest. A masked woman had apparently led them away from the carnage. The warrior leader dismisses the report, her focus solely on the tiger. As if on cue, the enraged tiger rears up for a furious attack. The hunter readies her sword, her resolve unwavering and absolute. She warns her men that this beast is far from defeated. Leader Zhao watches in disbelief, questioning her decision to abandon the villagers. For a split second, his passionate plea seems to make her hesitate. Just then, one of the crossbowmen steps forward with a plan. He thanks Zhao for his help, offering to assist the villagers himself. He even offers his own large sword to the unarmed young leader, but another hand intercepts the blade, firmly declining the offer. The masked man grins, revealing swords are not his true skill. He dons a deer mask and dashes off with incredible speed. The crossbowman is left dumbfounded by his sudden burst of movement. Leader Zhao wonders how he moved so fast, chasing the doctor. He asks the injured person which way the villagers went. In the dark forest, a creature stalks 2 fleeing children. Their mother's last wish was for someone to protect them. The injured villager weakly clutches at Leader Zhao's arm. She recognizes his uniform as one of the tiger hunters. With her last breath, she begs him to stop this calamity. Meanwhile, one of the children in the forest trips and falls. His sister cries out in fear as he tumbles to the ground. She desperately reaches for her fallen brother, screaming his name. A grotesque monster with a wicked grin looms over the children. The girl's eyes fill with tears of pure, unadulterated terror. The creature's shadowy claws reach down to snatch its prey. But the masked man arrives just in the nick of time. A brilliant yellow energy begins to crackle around his body. He unleashes his technique, the Bongsan mask dance, deer dance. Golden lightning erupts from his feet, striking the monster down. The scene shifts to a powerful memory from his childhood. A majestic deer once roamed these very same mountains. As a young boy, he argued with friends about its legendary speed. He foolishly tried to prove that tigers were much faster, but his reckless chase ended with a clumsy and painful fall. The other children couldn't help but laugh at his total failure. A girl smugly reminded him that deer were the fastest creatures. He glared at her, making a silent vow to himself. He promised he would one day show her true, unrivaled speed. That childhood promise now fuels his lightning-fast movements. He moves like a blur, shielding the two frightened children. The memory fades as he kneels, catching his breath at last. He is just relieved he managed to catch up in time. The children stare back, terrified and unsure of their rescuer. He removes his deer mask, trying to offer a reassuring smile. He asks the two children if they enjoy watching mask dances. They can only stare in silent, confused fear, but their silence is broken by an unexpected, chilling question. The monster he thought defeated now speaks directly to him. He stands guard, shocked by this impossibly intelligent creature. The man is stunned that a mere tiger has the ability to speak. They face each other in a dark clearing, a deadly standoff. The beast taunts him, asking if he fears a talking tiger. He replies that it reminds him of a dark figure he once saw. The tiger confesses that it's the one who is truly scared. It claims his speed is far too great for any normal human. He shields the children, knowing escape is his only real option. But he quickly realizes the harsh reality of his situation. His powerful lightning attack has left him completely exhausted. He turns to the children, asking where the other adults went. They tell him the adults simply vanished without a trace. The tiger grows impatient with their little conversation. Enraged at being ignored, it lets out a furious roar. The beast lunges forward with its massive fangs bared. The masked man grabs the children and leaps out of harm's way. He lands gracefully, narrowly dodging the ferocious attack. He shouts in frustration at the tiger's sudden aggression. The tiger licks its lips, once again impressed by his speed. It then reveals a shocking truth. It knows who he is. He freezes, wondering how this creature knows about his past. The tiger offers a twisted deal to the masked man. It demands the small bundle the child is holding in her hands. He asks the girl what could be so valuable inside the bundle. She explains it's just rice cakes, a final gift from her mother. The man is utterly confused by the creature's strange request. A moment of quiet tension hangs over the misty mountains. He takes the bundle and confirms the deal with the tiger. The beast grins eagerly, promising to let them go for the food. He can't believe a monster would risk it all for rice cakes. He decides to check inside the bundle for himself. As he peeks inside, his eyes widen in complete shock. He pulls out a strange object, not a rice cake at all. Unseen observers watch from the shadows, discussing the deal. They believe this might be a chance to save the children peacefully, but the tiger lunges forward with a furious, hungry roar. The man dodges, kicking the bundle away from the children. The tiger's claws rip the bag open, revealing powerful talismans. The masked man slides away, pulling out a hidden bladed weapon. The tiger glares, realizing it has been completely deceived. The man turns back, coldly telling the beast the deal is off. Inside the bundle were simple rice cakes made with a wooden mold, but the man noticed one of the cakes had a different pattern. Among the ordinary flour molds used to make the cakes was a single piece of a very important, powerful mask. He realizes the tiger isn't after food, but this mask piece. He directly accuses the tiger of being sent by another. The tiger's grin widens, impressed by his sharp deduction. The man sighs, disappointed that a peaceful solution is impossible. With a roar, the tiger lunges, abandoning all pretense. They clash in a flurry of motion, a dance of predator and prey. The unseen observers are shocked that the deal fell through. Their primary concern now is the safety of the two children. One of them decides they must intervene to save the kids. The others are stunned by this sudden, risky decision. The masked woman steps forward, revealing she has a plan. The tiger's powerful paw slams down, narrowly missing its target. A dark, smoky form of the beast appears, ready for another attack. The man apologizes to the children, knowing a fight is now unavoidable. The children look on, tears streaming down their terrified faces. He tries to reassure them, revealing his identity as a tiger hunter. He gently reassures the child, telling him to be brave. Someone shouts that they will take care of the precious bundle. The man knows he can't fight the tiger and protect the children. He decides to create distance, drawing the beast away from them. The tiger mocks his efforts, noting his visible exhaustion, but the man is energized by having an audience to protect. The monster roars, vowing to eat the children first. Just as he moves to intercept, a sharp pain shoots up his leg. His vision blurs as his body finally reaches its limit. The tiger's yellow eyes gleam with predatory triumph. The children scream in terror as the beast closes in. A mysterious force suddenly slams the tiger to the side. He looks up, confused by this unexpected turn of events. A thick rope descends from the sky, landing between the children. They stare at it, wondering where the mysterious rope came from. The man realizes that something strange has been happening all along. Looking up, he sees the other villagers hiding in the trees. A tiny dart strikes the tiger's nose, drawing a drop of blood. The masked woman and the villagers have come to their rescue. She yells at the children, urging them to climb the rope to safety. Elsewhere, another hunter rushes through the forest. He pants, desperately trying to follow the tracks. He finally comes to a halt, seeing something up ahead. In the clearing, he sees the tiger and the two small children. A thick rope hangs from the sky, pinning the beast down. The masked woman yells for the kids to climb to safety. The tiger growls, vowing to climb up after them. An arrow suddenly pierces its massive paw, pinning it down. A black-bladed weapon follows, embedding itself in the ground. The masked woman aims her bow, ready to provide cover fire. The children are frozen with fear, unable to move. The older sister grabs her brother, urging him to climb. She takes a firm hold of the rope, ready to ascend. The villagers watch from the branches, pulling them to safety. The hunter hiding nearby finally understands the villagers' strategy. He ponders his next move, trying to calculate the best approach. Another arrow finds its mark, but the tiger is unfazed. The beast scoffs, unimpressed by their weak attempts to stop it. The masked woman silently draws back another arrow, but this time she fires a large, heavy spear instead. But the tiger catches the spear with a blast of blue fire. The masked woman is shocked by this display of power. The tiger melts the spear in its mouth, horrifying the onlookers. A wisp of blue flame lingers on its razor-sharp teeth. It turns its attention back to the children on the rope. It offers them a deal, promising to spare them for the rice cakes. The masked woman tries to distract the beast so they can climb, but the masked man leaps in, his body wreathed in lightning. The masked woman watches in awe at his incredible power. He slams into the tiger, sending a shockwave through the clearing. Using his fan, he sends a cloud of dust toward the beast. The tiger's blue flames reappear, now aimed at him. He roars, pushing the flames back with his own power. The tiger warns him not to interfere with its hunt. It threatens to devour him if he continues to stand in its way. He realizes the blue flames are a form of protection. He clutches a new weapon, wondering what this strange power is. Far away, the hunter leader coughs, a blue flame on her lip. She stands over another defeated tiger, her work finally done. A subordinate reports that her other mission has been completed. The hunter leader is in a hurry, skipping all formal rituals. She knows these are no ordinary tigers and time is short. Blue flames erupt from the masked man's mouth as he struggles. The tiger easily overpowers him, mocking his weakened state. He grits his teeth, realizing the tiger is about to attack. Just as it lunges, a spear-like arrow intercepts its jaw. From the trees, the masked woman provides crucial support. A powerful blast of energy erupts from her arrow's tip. The masked man is thrown back by the force of the explosion. He thanks the doctor, admitting he was nearly defeated. The tiger seems even stronger now. Its power and speed increased. He decides it's time to switch to a more powerful mask. But as he reaches for it, he realizes his mask is gone. He's wearing the wrong clothes and has no other masks. With no other options, he decides to try a different tactic. He raises his hands in the air, shouting his surrender. The tiger is completely baffled by this sudden change of heart. Back in the village, the hunter leader's forces are on the move. She rides at a furious pace, her soldiers struggling to keep up. One of her men questions their path, unable to see any tracks. She tells him to look at the trees for a different kind of sign. Her eyes narrow, a fierce determination in her gaze. A man named Hong Yu is setting up a trap in the forest. He has his preparations ready, but needs a way to lure the tiger. The fight in the clearing rages on, the masked man on the defensive. He protests his surrender, but the tiger is relentless. The beast snarls, angry he didn't hand over the rice cakes. Hong Yu waits patiently, his trap perfectly set for his prey. The masked woman watches the fight, waiting for the perfect moment. She draws her bow, a powerful energy gathering at the tip. She fires, her arrow becoming a streak of blue lightning. She takes her shot, aiming with incredible precision. The masked man dodges, letting the arrow fly past him. The masked woman's eyes are focused, her aim true and steady. She unleashes her attack, sending a powerful wave of energy. The tiger faces the man, unaware of the attack from behind. The man dodges a swipe and lands a solid punch to its jaw. He stabs his arrow into the beast's eye, causing it to roar in pain. The masked man is shocked as a loud scream echoes through the forest. The woman and the hunter are both stunned by this new development. The masked man is confused by the sudden shouting. He sees Hong Yu waving, luring the enraged tiger towards him. Hong Yu shouts for them to drive the tiger into his trap. The masked man understands the plan and prepares to act. The tiger spits blood, infuriated by their attacks. It roars in defiance, vowing to destroy them all. With a burst of speed, it charges directly at the masked man. He sees an opening and unleashes a powerful lightning kick. The attack sends the beast flying through the air. The masked man lands, his body crackling with golden energy. The masked woman watches, impressed by his raw power. She knows his technique is clumsy, but incredibly effective. The tiger lands perfectly in the center of the hidden trap. A massive cage springs up, trapping the beast inside. The team has successfully captured the powerful tiger. Hong Yu is relieved, proud of his first solo tiger capture. He hopes this will buy them enough time for reinforcements. But the tiger begins to glow with an ominous blue light. Its claws extend, enveloped in the same powerful blue flame. It sneers at them, mocking their futile attempt at capture. Hong Yu sees a flash, a glimpse into his tragic past. He remembers his simple life as a trapper in the woods. He was a happy man, living a quiet life with his sister. He once proudly announced he had caught a rabbit for dinner. His sister asked why he worked so hard to save every coin. As he prepared their meal, he brought up a sensitive subject. He asked his sister about a recent marriage proposal. He explained he was saving money for her wedding dowry. His sister was deeply touched by her brother's selfless love. He promised to give her a proper and respectable wedding. But their peaceful life was shattered by an unexpected visitor. The man, a tiger hunter, had come with a special request. He had heard of a skilled trapper living in their small house. The memory fades, returning Hong Yu to the terrifying present. He struggles, calling out a name from his past in desperation. The tiger looms over him, its blue flames burning with hunger. The masked man's eyes widen, filled with a sudden, furious rage. The tiger taunts the onlookers, mocking their futile efforts. It scoffs at the idea that a simple rope could ever hold it. The masked man is silent, his body trembling with contained power. The tiger turns its rage on the masked woman in the trees. It blames her for the arrow that blinded one of its eyes. But the masked man leaps in, intercepting the tiger's attack. He apologizes, quickly pushing her out of the way. She is caught off guard by his sudden protective move. She lands safely on the ground as he creates a diversion. The villagers pull the children to safety high up in the trees. The masked woman tells them to cut the rope and flee to the west. She prepares to fire another arrow, aiming for its other eye. But the tiger's blue flames easily deflect her attack. It mocks her, telling her the same trick won't work twice. The beast pins the masked man down, its flames burning his body. The masked woman urges the villagers to escape while they still can. The tiger is annoyed by the man's constant chattering. It questions why he interfered, seeing him as weak and pathetic. The masked woman realizes her simple plan was never going to work. With a change of heart, the tiger abandons its previous deal. It roars, vowing to devour every single one of them. Suddenly, a figure drops from the sky, landing with a heavy thud. A new warrior appears, ready to join the desperate battle. The tiger is stunned by the newcomer's sudden arrival. The hunter leader has appeared, her blade already drawn. With a single clean strike, she severs the tiger's massive arm. The beast roars in agony as its limb falls to the ground. The masked man seizes the opportunity to escape its grasp. The leader coolly informs him he is not yet ready to hunt. The tiger is enraged that a mere human could harm it so. She ignores the beast, demanding to know where Hong Yu is. The masked man stammers, unsure of how to answer her question. The tiger vows to kill any other soldier who dares to interfere. It lunges at the leader, its body wreathed in blue flames. But she meets its attack head-on, her own flames flaring. The tiger is shocked that she could block its powerful attack. The leader understands the true nature of the beast's power. She realizes this opponent is far more dangerous than she thought. With another swift strike, she attacks the beast once more. A spray of blood marks another successful, devastating hit. The tiger's other front paw has now been completely severed. It wonders if this powerful warrior is even human at all. It knows it has no chance against such a monstrous opponent. The massive tiger beast decides to make a strategic retreat, but the young warrior refuses to let his target escape. The beast scoffs, believing a retreat is a valid tactic. Meanwhile, Cheon also plans his escape, relying on his speed. His eyes sharpen as he prepares to make his move. But something unexpected stops the tiger in its tracks. A sudden volley of arrows rains down upon the beast's face. The young warrior thinks the doctor has arrived to help. He quickly realizes this attack is far more powerful. A massive, spear-sized arrow has pierced the tiger's shoulder. He looks into the trees, searching for the mysterious archer. High above, a lone figure is perched among the branches. They wield an enormous and ornate crossbow. The sniper calmly confirms his target has been hit. This is Na Dong-su, a deadly archer from the Crow Squad. The tiger beast stumbles, overwhelmed by excruciating pain. It collapses as another huge bolt finds its mark right in its eye. Cheon silently observes the sudden turn of events. A new, heavily armored warrior approaches the wounded beast. He coldly informs the tiger that it is now completely blind. The beast finally recognizes its foe, a tiger hunter warrior. Blind and desperate, the tiger stumbles through the woods trying to flee. But the warrior slowly and deliberately closes the distance. The creature begins to beg, calling the previous kill a mistake. Unmoved, the hunter's hand glows with a cold blue energy. The tiger babbles excuses, blaming everyone but itself. The warrior's resolve is absolute. His subordinate will be avenged. He moves in a flash, a blur of motion and steel. His blade slices cleanly through a massive tree trunk. The top of the tree begins to slide off its base. The warrior now stands behind the defeated tiger beast. He remains silent as the monster is finally vanquished. Elsewhere, the soft chiming of bells fills the air. A somber ritual is being held for the tiger's victims. A shaman performs a rite over ceremonial beast heads. The air is thick with the grief of mourning villagers. A priestess dances with a blade to guide the lost souls. A golden talisman is prepared for the departed. It is placed upon countless memorial stone mounds. The ceremony continues, a final farewell for the dead. The young warrior carefully carves a small stone tablet. He tries to perfectly replicate the symbol he found. This is the first mask fragment he's seen with writing on it. He ponders its meaning, but something else catches his attention. He asks his senior why the Tiger Hunter unit performs rituals. The senior warrior looks on with a grim expression. He explains that victims of tigers can become malevolent spirits. The rituals are meant to save their souls from the tiger's grasp. The young warrior suddenly connects this to the tiger's blue flame. His senior remains silent, offering no immediate response. But the young man points out he also wielded that same blue flame. He presses for an answer, wanting to know the flame's true nature. The senior warrior's gaze remains fixed and unreadable. His hand tightens around the hilt of his sheathed sword. He suddenly changes the subject, pointing out the young man's injury. The young warrior is confused by the sudden change in topic. His senior warns him that spiritual wounds heal very slowly. Following his advice, the young man seeks out the doctor. She applies a strange, spiky poultice to his wounded leg. The medicine is made from thistles, meant to speed his recovery. He's surprised to find she is a genuine doctor, not just an archer. The warrior wonders why she always covers her face. She notices him staring and playfully asks if he expects a scar. He quickly apologizes, but she simply says she prefers not to be remembered. With the treatment finished, she gives him final instructions. Her hands nervously clutch a piece of cloth as she speaks. She then quietly mentions seeing a familiar mask dance recently. Her words immediately catch the young warrior's full attention. He asks her to confirm if she really saw a mask dance. Meanwhile, the senior warrior performs a quiet, solitary ritual. He holds a bowl of wine before the memorial stones. The warrior pours out the drink as an offering for the fallen. This moment triggers a memory from a happier time. His comrades had teased him for being so happy about his sister's wedding. He'd proudly stated it was the whole reason he became a hunter. With his sister safe in her new family, his greatest wish was fulfilled. A friend then asked if he would finally quit the dangerous unit. After all, he no longer needed to risk his life for the money. The warrior looked away from the fire, considering the question. He simply replied that the Tiger Hunter unit was his home now. His comrade's celebratory mood had quickly turned serious. The cheerful night ended abruptly when the liquor ran dry. Back in the present, the last drops of the offering are poured. He drinks the rest himself, a lonely tribute to his lost friends. Meanwhile, the young warrior and the doctor continue their talk. He correctly identifies her as Miss Yu Hua, her face now uncovered. She is stunned that he could possibly remember her. He cheerfully introduces himself as Bongsan, the mask dancer. The name seems to spark a flicker of recognition in her eyes. He reminds her of their past meeting, just as his senior approaches. The senior warrior interrupts them, asking if the treatment is complete. His towering figure looms over the surprised pair. Bongsan is flustered by the poorly timed interruption. The senior identifies the woman as the doctor who saved the villagers. His attention then shifts to the powerful bow resting nearby. He acknowledges that she is quite skilled with the weapon. Yu Hua nervously confirms that the bow is indeed hers. She quickly explains that a doctor needs a way to defend herself. The senior warrior asks Bongsan if he is acquainted with her. But before he can speak, Yu Hua coldly denies knowing him at all. Bongsan is left completely bewildered by her sudden denial. The senior warrior offers her a permanent position with their unit. Her grip tightens on her bow, her hesitation clear. She vividly remembers the gruesome fate of the last hunter. She sees the offer as nothing short of a death sentence. The senior warrior's gaze remains steady and unwavering. He revises his offer, simply asking for her help with the injured. A flicker of resolve hardens in her eyes. Without a word, she suddenly springs to her feet. She demands to be taken to the patients immediately. Yu Hua walks purposefully into the ravaged village. Bongsan wants to say something but stops himself. He silently watches as she walks away from them. The doctor sets out to fulfill her duty to the wounded. As the bells chime, the long and bloody tiger hunt is finally over. The rituals are performed, marking an end to the terror. The fallen are laid to rest beneath heavy mounds of stone. For the survivors, the difficult task of rebuilding now begins. With her work done, the doctor prepares to walk her own path. Bongsan, also ready to depart, watches her leave from a distance. Bongsan remains silent, watching her walk into the distance. The time has come for the hunters to move forward. They depart the ruined village in a solemn procession. A new day dawns as they journey toward a new beginning. They finally arrive at the vast Tiger Hunter Unit headquarters. Bongsan looks forward to finally getting a good night's rest. But his hopes for a peaceful evening were misplaced. He awakens to find himself bound tightly to a chair. He stammers, trying to address the warrior before him. His superior sternly demands to know what's going on. Bongsan finds himself surrounded by a crowd of imposing warriors. His personal pouch is confiscated right before his eyes. Inside are all the mysterious mask fragments he's collected. The warrior reports that a new piece has been recently added. Outraged, Bongsan demands to know why his property was taken. A woman from the crowd coolly tells him to show respect. She reveals everyone in the room is a Tiger Hunter warrior. Bongsan doesn't care. He just wants to know what they're doing. Another warrior accuses him of insulting their entire unit. The senior reveals the truth. They know he stole a mask piece. The fragment still contains the energy of a powerful black tiger. The senior warrior demands to know the mask's true purpose. Bongsan is shocked that the warrior knows about spiritual energy, but the warrior refuses to answer, pressing for his own answers. Bongsan connects the clues: Black Tiger and the broken mask. The interrogation triggers a vivid and painful memory. He remembers his master facing down a terrifying spirit. The spirit declared his master unworthy of the human mask. His master performed the Heichi dance, the second act. He unleashed a devastating attack called the Water Bloom. A beam of pure energy tore through the dark forest. The mask his master wore began to crack under the strain. It then shattered into countless pieces, flying into the air. His master collapsed, defeated and mortally wounded. His body began to turn to dust before his eyes. A young Bongsan could only scream in helpless anguish. He rushed to his master's side as a dark beast loomed nearby. With his dying breath, his master gave him a final mission. He told Bongsan that everything now rested on his shoulders. He entrusted him with finding the scattered pieces of the human mask. The locations of the mask pieces are recorded on a map. Young Bongsan could only watch, his eyes filled with tears. The memory fades and Bongsan's resolve hardens. The senior warrior understands he's searching for the human mask. Bongsan confirms this, stating the broken mask is his only clue. He explains the mask fragments themselves form a map. One of the other warriors scoffs at the idea. The Wild Dog squad leader wonders if the mask is valuable. Others speculate that the Black Tiger wants to become human. But Bongsan reveals the tiger's true, terrifying ambition. The assembled warriors are stunned into silence by his words. A blonde warrior scoffs, doubting Bongsan's bold claim. Bongsan insists he heard it directly from the Black Tiger himself. The tiger proclaimed it was destined to become the nation's king. The Python squad leader dismisses it as a clown's tale. Bongsan is offended by the suggestion that he's a liar. But the Owl squad leader can see the truth in his eyes. This intense scrutiny makes Bongsan incredibly nervous. The Hawk squad leader declares the mask must be destroyed. Another warrior immediately questions his captain's reasoning. They must prevent a repeat of the tragedy from 10 years ago. A warrior argues for destroying the mask pieces, calling it logical. Bongsan protests, pleading that the mask is important to him. To his shock, another warrior calmly agrees with the plan. More and more warriors voice their agreement to destroy the mask. Bongsan panics as the consensus seems to turn against him. But then, the Crow Squad's deputy leader offers another idea. Bongsan is confused by this sudden, unexpected support. Another warrior argues that using the mask as bait is too risky. The hunters are now divided, some seeing risk, others opportunity. As the debate intensifies, Bongsan decides to speak up. He declares his firm opposition to destroying the Heichi mask. The assembled warriors silently listen to his plea. Elsewhere, the crossbow archer is being summoned. He realizes that this is a situation where talk won't work. Nadongsu is a deadly sniper from the Crow Squad. The crossbow he wields is massive and ornately carved. It weighs an incredible 150 gun, or 90 kilograms. Back in the room, Bongsan feels a heavy weight on his head. The senior warrior has a new plan, starting at the barracks. Two warriors discuss the whereabouts of their leader. They arrive at a large set of doors ready to meet him. A warrior slides open the heavy doors. He explains the division among the hunters about the mask. The senior warrior confirms they will all follow the leader's decision. He announces their presence to the leader inside the room. The scene shifts to a vast, mountainous landscape. Bongsan is forced to carry heavy gear, struggling to keep up. He curses under his breath, wishing he had more time. This arduous task triggers another memory from his past. He remembers starving until a kind stranger offered him rice. It had been 15 long days since his last proper meal. The man was shocked he survived so long on wild plants. The stranger confirms that the old mountain spirit has died. Bongsan then asks how this man knew about his master. The stranger is annoyed that the master never mentioned him. The man takes a moment to remember the boy's name is Bongsan. He puts on a mask and offers the young boy a mysterious bet. Back in the present, a man stands before a large map. The two warriors bow and greet the tiger hunter leader. A mysterious figure stands silently before them. He taps his cane, questioning their sudden visit. He notes two bitter rivals have come together. His masked face stares them down, sensing trouble. The scene triggers a distant, unsettling memory. A strange man once proposed a dangerous bet. It was a wager started with the mountain spirit. He made a tempting offer in the dead of night. The mission was to find the legendary human mask first. But Bongsan knew every bet had a hidden cost. The man's friendly tone suddenly turned ice cold. His eyes widened with a truly terrifying intensity. Bongsan jolts awake, his head pounding from the dream. He is now a recruit at the Tiger Hunter headquarters. His new life begins with grueling, endless training. He struggles to keep pace with the other hunters. Bongsan is completely exhausted from the constant work, but a far greater worry occupies his troubled mind. He wonders if their precious map has been destroyed. Meanwhile, a perfectly aimed arrow strikes its target. A skilled archer named Seung looses his arrow. He practices alone at the empty archery range. A burly man, Gu Beanhuang, approaches him with a grin. He mentions a rumor about Seung's father raising tigers. Seung ignores him, expertly splitting his first arrow. Beanhuang continues, telling a story about a tiger cub. Seung simply prepares another arrow, uninterested. Beanhuang had planned to gift the cub to the noble elder, but inside the crate, the young cub lies motionless. They stare down at the unfortunate animal in silence. Beanhuang panics, swearing the cub was alive before. A closer look reveals the cub was deliberately harmed. Beanhuang's eyes narrow as a suspect comes to mind. The scene shifts to Yonggap, who denies any knowledge. Beanhuang furiously confronts him about the dead cub. Yonggap coolly claims he has no interest in such matters. He tries to walk away, dismissing the accusation entirely, but Beanhuang is not finished with him just yet. He grabs Yonggap's wrist, stopping him dead in his tracks. The enraged squad leader refuses to be ignored. He glares at Yonggap, demanding they settle this now. He demands compensation for the expensive tiger cub. Bongsun watches from the sidelines, feeling the tense air. Beanhuang states the price and demands Yonggap pay up. He warns Yonggap not to underestimate his greed. Yonggap scoffs, questioning his rival's need for money. Beanhuang's patience snaps and he lunges forward. But Yonggap calmly tells him to watch his words. Beanhuang just smirks, goading him for getting angry. His club ignites with a brilliant blue spiritual energy. Bongsun recognizes the power, a malevolent spirit. Beanhuang swings the energized weapon with immense force. Yonggap effortlessly blocks the blow with his bare arm. He doesn't even flinch, standing his ground firmly. With incredible speed, he dodges the next attack. The ground shatters where he stood moments before. Yonggap lands gracefully, completely unfazed by the assault. Beanhuang taunts him, urging him to use his real power. In a flash, Yonggap is behind him, landing a sharp blow. The spiritual energy flares as Beanhuang's smile turns deadly, but his powerful attack is suddenly stopped in midair. Yonggap has summoned his own glowing blue spirit weapon. The two energies clash, locked in a dangerous stalemate. Suddenly, other elite warriors intervene to stop the fight. A fellow squad leader pleads for them both to calm down. He scolds Beanhuang for using such dangerous power. Another warrior holds him back, insulting his low birth. Seung finally steps in, ordering Beanhuang to stop. His piercing gaze then turns to the other fighter. He tells Yonggap this shameful display must end now. Yonggap silently glares before finally standing down. From the crowd, Bongsun watches the entire incident. He can't shake the deep unease settling over him. He realizes something is terribly wrong with this place. Malevolent spirits are supposed to be a tiger's power. His troubling thoughts are cut short by an urgent call. All soldiers are being summoned to the training grounds. A calm quietness settles over the entire headquarters. The soldiers assemble in perfect rows, awaiting orders. They stand silently, their faces stern and focused. Bongsun wonders about this sudden and massive assembly. A commanding officer strides forward to address the troops. The rookie recognizes the man as the archer, Baek Sung. Seung proudly introduces himself as the Hawk Squad leader. He cuts the pleasantries short, getting to the real reason. A new Tiger Hunter warrior will be chosen from their ranks. He reveals there is only one condition for this high honor. Bongsun is shocked to hear there is only a single test. Seung lets the tension build before revealing the secret. The candidate must be able to face a mighty tiger alone. A mysterious blue energy begins to glow from his finger. The true test is if they can handle the malevolent spirit